Hey, I'm Di McQueen, licensed clinical social worker, family and addiction expert. I'm here with Dr. Brian Jackson, my longtime cohort who specializes in the field of addiction. Welcome to Healing Families Shattered by Addiction.
Di and I have worked with addicts, alcoholics, and their families for over 30 years combined. Our podcast and coaching programs focus on families who have a loved one suffering from addiction. Our experience has been that this disease affects families as much, if not more, than the addict or alcoholic.
Is your world spinning out of control? Are you codependent? Are you experiencing worry, loss of sleep, and difficulty concentrating? If so, you're in the right place. Brian and I have both personally lived it, learned it, and now we're going to teach you tools and techniques on how to get your life back that you thought was shattered by addiction.
Okay, let's dive in.
Brian and I are so excited to introduce to you our new sponsor, Lakeview Health. They are a wonderful residential treatment center. Whether it's the family member who is looking for a place or the addict or alcoholic themselves, this would be the place that we would refer them to. Brian, you have many years of experience with Lakeview.
Yeah, Lakeview Health is a center of excellent addiction treatment. They take an evidence-based approach, medical approach to treating this complex brain disease. They hold the Joint Commission's Golden Seal, and they were voted one of America's best treatment centers by Newsweek magazine. They deliver dual diagnosis, gender-responsive, and trauma-informed care at their gorgeous facility here in Jacksonville, Florida. But they do see people from all over the world do come here to Jacksonville to go to treatment at Lakeview. Their levels of care include medically supervised detox, which a lot of people do need. Then they stabilize them in a residential rehabilitation and partial hospitalization program. They have board-certified physicians, master-level therapists, and they work to address the unique needs of each patient. So in other words, it's not a cookie-cutter program. They help individuals build skills for long-term sobriety. So if you or someone you know needs treatment, please visit their site at lakeviewhealth.com. We also have a hyperlink on our website at familyandaddictionexperts.com where you can just click and get some information about Lakeview Health. And Di, I think you have a number for people to call if they would like to inquire about treatment.
I sure do. That number is 888-480-3799. That's 888-480-3799. Give them a call.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Healing Families Shattered by Addiction. This is Dr. Brian Jackson. Welcome to our podcast. We do topics from time to time. And today I wanted to talk about the 6 family roles in addiction. So it's the roles that family members play when there's an active alcoholic or addict loved one in the family. So exactly what types of family roles are there in addiction? But the 6 most prevalent and common roles are as follows. Number 1 is the addict. 2 is the caretaker. 3 is the hero. 4 is the scapegoat. 5 is the mascot. And 6 is the lost child. So the addict, which is the first one, as the term suggests, is the presence of family roles in addiction hinges on this one individual above all others, and that's the addict or the alcoholic. This person's substance abuse is what causes the 5 remaining roles to emerge from the family members. So a lot of times the addict's behavior largely depends on the type of substance they abuse. So that could be all over the place, from alcohol to cocaine to opioids or whatever the substance of choice is. But in general, they're mostly unpredictable and prone to aggressive outbursts or even periods of depression. And notably, they tend to blame others for their problems and avoid assuming responsibilities whenever it's possible. So the next role that we see within families is the caretaker. And so that's when someone in the family enables the actions and behaviors of the addict. They may fit the role of the caretaker. This person is often the spouse of the addict. It can be the child of the addict or alcoholic, and they tend to make excuses for the addict and do whatever they can to keep the family running smoothly. And you'll see with these different roles that family members play is to try and make the family look like everything is running smoothly and everything is okay. So the caretaker is one of the family roles in addiction that tries to preserve the family's external image, and as such may make excuses for the addict's behaviors and cover for their responsibilities for them. Unfortunately, this places additional stress on the caretaker and prevents the real issues from being addressed. So caretaker is in the role basically of enabling this behavior with the hope that maybe it'll just go away. We also have the hero. So another one of the family roles in addiction is referred to as the hero. And the hero is often the eldest child who feels pressured to perform for the sake of their family. For example, they may be getting perfect grades, impressive sports achievements, or other means of success to take some of the eye off the ball, if you will, of what's going on. Again, the perfect grades, excelling in sports. And a lot of times the hero possesses a type A personality, and that there are mainly achievement oriented, competitive, and try and control the things around them. So by claiming power, authority, and success where they can, the hero feels like they can prevent the situation at home from worsening any further at the cost of their own elevated stress levels. So another role that people play in the family is the scapegoat. Unfortunately, with the addict, denying blame and care, and the caretaker absorbing all of this as well, someone else has to take the fall for the family's problems, and that burden typically falls on the scapegoat. The addict, blames the caretaker, and the burden lands on the scapegoat, who is treated as though they are the ones who are responsible for the dysfunction in their household. So because of this antagonism, the scapegoat often shuts the rest of the family out. Moreover, they may develop depression or even act rebelliously due to feeling ostracized and lonely. The scapegoat is one of the family roles in addiction at a higher risk of succumbing to their own substance abuse later in their lives. In 5, we have the mascot. And for years, mental health experts have studied the merits and reasoning behind using humor as a coping mechanism. So these concepts from the basis of the mascot, one of the family roles in addiction most inclined to use humor against pain. So they're kind of the joker in the family that tries to keep things light. And the mascot tends to be very aware of the hostile atmosphere at home. So in an attempt to alleviate the discomfort, they try, cracking jokes and distracting the rest of the family from their underlying issues. And so other family members may view the mascot as, someone who is naive and immature, but they're often the ones who are the most sensitive. And again, they're hiding behind, the humor to cover up how they're feeling emotionally. And 6, last but not least, is the lost child. So the last of the 6 family roles in addiction is known as the lost child. This person typically goes unnoticed by the rest of the family. In fact, they may actively try to do so by keeping their heads down and avoiding confrontation whenever possible. And as the name suggests, the lost child then proceeds to slide under the radar of the rest of the family. Thus, any attention someone, especially the caretaker, would have given to the lost child shifts to the addict, whether the lost child, intended it or not. So those are some of the characteristics, of the lost child. And a lot of times the lost child shifts to the addict instead, whether the lost child intended it or not. Feeling invisible in their own home can cause issues with their self-worth and lead to long-term challenges expressing their needs. So these are some of the roles that we see. And for those of you who have lived in a household or with a family member that is suffering from a substance use disorder, there may be a role in here that you're playing, and it might be outside of your awareness. So we just wanted to give you some education on these different roles that can be played within the family system when there is addiction in the household. And again, a lot of it is a distraction from what's going on and trying to make everything look like everything is okay. So it all begins with the addict, and then we have the caretaker, who is basically the enabler who covers up for the addict, the hero who overachieves to take, distract from what's going on in the family, the scapegoat, the mascot, and the lost child. So all of this information is on our family survival kit. This is an article that we've put in there, but we also thought it would be important to talk about it on our podcast. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to email us at info@familyandaddictionexperts.com. Again, our email is info@familyandaddictionexperts.com. And you can find us on our website at www.familyandaddictionexperts.com. So we invite you to send us questions. We will get back to you. We also invite you to sign up. There's no charge for the Family Survival Kit, where we have a lot of material in there that we feel is very helpful for family members who are living with a loved one who is suffering from this illness. So again, it was kind of a short one, but I think a very important one in terms of taking a look at what role you are playing in the family, and maybe what roles some other family members are playing. So that way we can have more of an awareness of the kind of the trap we can fall into. You can also find us on Instagram. The podcasts are on Spotify and YouTube and Apple. So until we come up with our next podcast, I wish all of you health and happiness, and look forward to doing our next podcast and getting that out to you. So have a great day, and thank you so much for listening. Again, I'm Dr. Brian Jackson with Family and Addiction Experts.
Thanks so much for joining our podcast, Healing Families Shattered by Addiction. We'll be back in a couple weeks with more important tools, techniques, and ways for you to focus on you instead of the alcoholic or addict in your world.
Until then, please go to our website, familyandaddictionexperts.com. That's familyandaddictionexperts.com. You'll also see links to our Facebook and Instagram pages. Please also, if you have any emails that you would like to send us, that's info@familyandaddictionexperts.com. That's info@familyandaddictionexperts.com. With any thoughts, feelings, questions that you may have for us, we would love to hear from you, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.